Oh my god, he's going to go around the inside. He's going to send it. He's taking the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix on the last lap. Matt Turner takes the win in a remarkable race. We have teammates coming together. How devastating!
Good afternoon, evening, morning, ladies and gentlemen, wherever it is in the world for yourself. Welcome in. This is the iFormula League. This is Formula 3, and this is round number 13 out of 14. We have one more race after today, and we could see a championship winner after this race. If Victor Barris can hold off his teammate Antonio Jimenez, or both of them score points and Antonio Jimenez wins, then that's it. That's championship over. As far as I know, that is how the maths has worked out on that one. We are at the Circuit Park Zandvoort today for the Dutch Grand Prix, and this circuit is very technical for a lot of these drivers. We're looking for drivers here to try and maximize everything they can through the corners, probably running higher downforce setups and really making the most out of that long run down into turn number 1. And just before we continue on much further into qualifying, let's bring up the F3 standings for you as it is right now, and we will talk a little bit about them before we get into the action. So here we are with your championship standings as it is at the moment. DriveX Esports having taken the team's championship. There is no way now for them to lose that. So as far as Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez are concerned, it's gloves off. They are fighting now for the championship win, and that is it. That's what their goal is now, is to see who's the fastest out of those two. In terms of the actual team standings a little bit further down, Orion Racing and Lumos and also the CUDA Works team are all still fighting for that second place spot, and I don't think any of them can actually win that championship today. So even if Orion Racing completely whitewashes the board, gets double points, and then the Lumos guys don't score any, I still think Lumos have a way to bounce back potentially in the final round. Although maybe now looking at it, actually maybe not. The CUDA Works team, at least as far as I'm aware, are pretty much settled with where they are. I'm not sure if we have any drivers representing them today, so not sure we'll see an upset. It would just be the way that Orion Racing and Lumosy Motorsports line up on the second and third spots for the team's championship. And then as far as the drivers standings goes, we obviously have Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez. That is one thing that we do need to talk about. Frederick Larson can still win the drivers championship, but needs both Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez to not score points, and he needs to take the maximum amount of points every round. Yes, that means he needs to win, get fastest lap, and also needs to be safest driver to secure himself the top step of the Drivers' Championship at the end of it when it's all said and done. As far as a little bit further down, obviously the battle for second still heating up between 3 drivers. That'll be Jake Potts, Antonio Jimenez, and Frederick Larson. And then third place still heating up between Frederick Larson, Jake Potts, and then also Brandon Walker could, in theory, score points and push himself third, but he would need Frederick Larson to not be on the podium at all, outscoring him in every single round, which, I mean, it's possible. However, depending on how Frederick Larson's going to be, whether he's going to try and just secure that top 3, or whether he's going to try and push for second or push for first, we'll have to wait and see. That will be the deciding factor, I think, in a lot of this championship as it stands right now. And then a little bit further down, we obviously have battles there for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Basically, all the positions are still up for grabs, but I think maybe the top 3 are a little bit too far out of reach. aside from maybe Jake Potts being able to sneak in there right at the last minute. So Frederick Larsen needs to be aware of Jake Potts, but also needs to try and push for Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez. So maybe if he can just win the last 2 rounds, who knows where he sits himself at the end of it. But enough about that. Let's talk about the other thing that we're here for, which is racing. We're here for racing. At the moment, we are in qualifying, and we are 6 minutes into the session of a 25-minute session, as is the case. And currently, we have 17 people, actually, in the session right now. And out of those 17 people, who's on top? Of course it is. It's the DriveX guys. It's something that you have probably come to expect from now. You know, you're looking at Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez. Both of them setting incredible pace at the moment, with Victor Barris doing a 1:28.29 at the moment, setting the new fastest lap of this qualifying session, and going a couple tenths clear of his teammate, Antonio Jimenez, and then another, well, I would say another 10th quicker than Frederick Larsen has managed to do, but actually, not really. I think Frederick Larsen has actually done a really good job there at being pretty close. Obviously, then Antonio Jimenez has gone quicker, so we'll have to wait and see if that does continue in the way that it has been so far this session. At the moment, Brendan Walker then is 4th with Jake Potts in 5th. And then Larsen's... No, not Larsen's teammate, sorry. Patrick Olsen, who is racing for Team Banana Lime, I think is what they're calling themselves now. He is currently in 6th, with Danny O'Keefe there in 7th, and a 10th off of Patrick Olsen, so watch for Danny to maybe try and make a couple moves here early on into this qualifying session. Then we have a new name, Marianne, I believe that's Barbeau is how you pronounce that. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Marianne. I'm sure you will in the commentary post, so do correct me if I have said your name wrong. I will try my best to remember it in future. But new name to the series, currently sitting in 8th, and honestly, with a field as competitive as this, that's pretty good going. Now, I've seen in practice, they were able to go a little bit quicker than this 1:31 that they've posted. Sorry, 1:29 that they've posted so far. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not that does happen. And then behind them, to round out the top 10, we do have Dominic Herbert, who is racing for the Pure Racing Opposition Team, PRO. And at the moment, just sort of, I wouldn't say is particularly far off the pace, but definitely could do with finding a bit more time, as he is green now through the 4th sector. Sorry, 3rd sector, going into the 4th sector, where he is also green anyway, so, you know, it made it up. Jake Potts, at the moment, is still 5th, hasn't massively improved yet, as Marianne does improve now up into 6th position with a 1:29.46, I believe that was, or 49 that was, sorry. And that puts them up into 6th place right now, ahead of Patrick Olsen, and a little bit closer, just a smidge closer to where Jake Potts is. Still has to find 4 tenths to really solidify themselves up there in that top 5, but doing a pretty good job nonetheless. Then, as far as some of the other drivers we have, obviously we have the CUDA team of Stuart Gibbons, who's just coming across our screens right now, and then Nicholas Marshall also behind them. Stuart Gibbons so far fastest lap is a 1:30.3, with Nicholas Marshall being a 1:30.5 as well. So Nicholas Marshall doing a great job putting that car where it needs to be, same as Stuart Gibbons, but as I say, I'm sure they'll have a bit more pace in it towards the end of the session. Naturally, that's where you think a lot of the people will be going, but one person who is on a flyer right now is Frederick Larsen. Does try to improve, but not quite quick enough, whereas Victor Barris does improve, take it from his teammate, Antonio Jimenez. So Victor Barris is now up on top, and very much looking pretty, as Frederick Larsen decides that the wall tasted nice. And he's going to return back to the pits and try all over again. Arturo currently on a flyer, improving in every sector except for the one where I mentioned the fact that they were on a flyer, which sounds about right when you think about the commentator's cuts. Arturo Mayorga doing a great job in that Blue Frog racing car. Very difficult to say very quickly, so something I'm going to have to work on throughout the seasons if they continue driving with us, which I hope they do. Arturo seems like a very, very nice person, seems like an absolutely amazing driver as well, and one that I would love to see improve, as we have seen so much with a lot of these drivers. A lot of these drivers are ones that you might look at as drivers who are potentially midfield battlers usually, but are slowly making their way up into that sort of next tier of pace, like Victor Barris, for example, who just keeps setting purple lap times because, you know, I've already done it once in this session. Why don't I do it another 3 times? That's just, yeah. Alright. I mean, look, if you've got the pace, you've got the pace, right? We're seeing Arturo trying to get out of the way there, but has to be careful of the grass. Obviously, not very grippy in a lot of situations. Grass tends to be pretty slippery. Not going to get much traction out there. But manages to get out of the way of a flyer. I believe that was of possibly Frederick Larson, or it could have been Danny O'Keefe as well. I would say it's probably... No, it was Danny O'Keefe. Frederick Larson is currently behind them. So Frederick Larson still looking to improve. Daniel Laharas is also looking to improve his lap time, currently setting a 1:34.50, so I'd imagine that's not necessarily representative as what his pace might actually be like. Stuart Gibbons also looking to improve, is currently up on his time in a lot of the sectors, so if he can improve by at least a 10th here, he will take 11th from Dominic Herbert. So let's see, as he crosses the line, is he going to improve at all? And yes, it does look like he does. So a 1:29.828, he does manage to improve and put himself top 10 right now. So great job there from Stuart Gibbons to improve on his time for the CUDA Evo team, not the Works team, the Evo team. And Brandon Walker also doing a stellar job right now. 13 minutes of this qualifying session gone so far then. And this F3 car is one that I think really likes this track. It's quite a quick track for F3 standards. I think for a lot of cars here, this track is normally considered quite fast. Obviously, there's a lot of sweeping corners where you can really carry the momentum through. And because of the downforce of these cars, as Stuart Gibbons unfortunately tries to carry a little bit too much there, jump on board with Danny O'Keefe, see whether or not he is improving. Doesn't look like it. And who is that behind him? I believe that will be Jake Potts. No, that's a different car. I want to say it was Eystein, actually. Is Eystein driving for Lumos today? Possibly? I'm lost in all of this. I'm lost in a lot of these liveries now. There's quite a few of them that look the same. I think Eystein could be. In which case, I will need to correct that. There will be 2 Lumos drivers, if that is the case. But we will wait and see if we hear anything back. So Eystein is still racing for Nox. Okay, cool. So Eystein is still currently racing for Nox, which is, I believe, a... Well, considering it's very similar colors to Lumos, I'm considering it's a secondary Lumos team, yeah. Something that obviously we see in this championship, we have a couple of teams that have subsidiaries or secondary teams. Like, for example, CUDA have their Works and their Evo team, and Lumos have their own team plus Nox as their secondary team. So, you know, something that maybe could be a thing if more people come in and you have more than one driver you want to put in a category. You know, you want to have a team for F3, but you also want to have another 2 drivers race in F3 for not necessarily the same team, but similar. Then why not? Why not? Get them involved. The more, the merrier here at the IFL. We are looking to obviously change things around for next season. Obviously, we are in season 3, I believe, of the Formula 3. Indeed we are. We are here in Season 3, so naturally, we are looking for Season 4. We're looking onwards to that. And trying to make moves where we can. Trying to secure ourselves all sorts of new things. All sorts of new shiny stuff for your eyeballs. And also a new way of hopefully the league being run a little. Hopefully it will improve a lot for the drivers. We've had a lot of feedback here from Season 3 from a lot of the drivers here, and also from some of the other people involved, and we're going to look at hopefully improving everything for the end user. Yeah, we want to listen to the community and definitely improve where possible. And currently, it looks like the only people really improving on their lap times right now, as I say, Frederick Larson did just improve, I think. Unless they were on pit exit. I saw the flash of green, but that could have been their pit exit. At the moment, Daniel is improving, Halmar is improving, and Arturo is also improving. Jake Potts improving, but not enough. I say that, but he did just go even quicker through Sector 4, so we will keep on board with him as he does round the final corner. Flat out, it should be in these cars. And is he going to improve his lap time at all? No, he does not. 129.569 is not going to cut it. And Arturo Mayorga does improve their lap time to go to a 130.4. So pushing themselves up into P13. Unlucky for some, but maybe not unlucky for Arturo, as Jake Potts almost decides to do a bit of a Gran Turismo wall ride there, which is not recommended as an optimal strategy for getting around a circuit quickly, especially in iRacing. With the new damage model that they've included within iRacing, you may see those tires fly off. Potentially hit a spectator, which is not good. Thankfully, they're only virtual, so we don't have to worry about paying medical bills. But Victor Barris does improve his lap time, 129.199. I wonder whether or not we're going to see a sub 28 at the end of this session. We still have another 6 minutes or so to go. So the potential is there. If Victor Barris feels like he could improve by 2/10, I mean, that is a tall order, though. That is a very tall order indeed. I don't think anyone is even close to beating that time in Sector 1. Like, there's a lot of sectors where Victor Barris is just so much quicker than everyone else. And, like, I think he's even quicker than his teammate in every sector right now, so... really? We aren't going to see a massive improvement, I don't think. But hey, I can dream. Right? 127, I can dream. I can dream about it. It's not going to make it happen, but I wish it would. That would be hype. I'd want to see that. I want to see these guys pushing the limit of this car as Antonio Jimenez. He's going to try it, going green in the first sector, slightly down in Sector 2, but does go purple in Sector 3. We're going to see what he can do maybe through Sector 4. We will jump on board with him, actually. Let's jump on board. See what it looks like here for Antonio Jimenez as through Sector 4. It looks like he got it all sorts of wrong. He is way off the pace in Sector 4. Coming through Sector 5 now. And again, not that close, so I think he must have messed up somewhere in Sector 4 because he was way off the pace. 1 minute 37 is not good. I say that, but it's telling me the last lap time there was a 128.5, so maybe the timing lying to me just a little bit. Let's see whether or not he can improve a little bit further. So, in Sector 3, we know there is at least a 10th. Given that Antonio Jimenez has gone faster, a 10th faster than his teammate in Sector 3. Needs to be careful of the grass, though. Trying to maximize every bit of track he can is Antonio Jimenez. But I don't think it's going to be fast enough. I feel like he is going to have to put on a masterclass here. Through Sector 4, through Sector 5, and then Sector 6. Which I really wish iRacing you'd combine into 3 sectors, by the way. Like, literally, you just have to half it. Wouldn't be that hard. You know, help us commentary people out. Or if there's a way that anyone knows of getting a bit more reliable timing where we can have the traditional Sector 1s, 2s, and 3s, that would also be amazing. Display them for you guys so you can see what's going on. But no, Antonio Jimenez did not improve. I believe they went a little bit too wide out of the final corner, and unfortunately that was about it. Now, Frederick Larsen is currently not... He's not massively improving. He is improving a bit through Sector 1 almost every lap, but... he's sort of just in a similar sort of territory to where the Drive X guys are. Up until about Sector 3, where he drops off. And through Sector 4, he's basically matching pace again. And then through Sector 5, hopefully this should be a clean run for him. So we'll see whether or not he lost any time. He did go green in the final sector, so yeah, there is a bit of time there to be found, but again, not quick enough really to make any sort of moves. Antonio Jimenez once again going for it right now. Marianne Barberu also improving. But Antonio Jimenez rounds the final corner. Does he go quicker than his teammate? Do we see our first 127 of the weekend? And no, we do not, but we get very close. 128.201 is 0.002 of a second off of his teammate. You cannot get it closer than that, ladies and gentlemen. Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez are basically the same driver right now in my eyes. They have done the exact same lap time, but they have found that time in very, very different places. Antonio Jimenez's pace primarily came through Sector 4 in comparison to his teammates, so I reckon if they combined the perfect lap together, if we took all of the purple sectors that we've had so far this session, we would see that 127, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to happen. And obviously with that being said, we do only have 30 seconds here left of this qualifying session, so Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez are out of the session now. They're not going back out for any more quali laps because there's not that much time left. So you ain't going to get round in that amount of time. And I believe Frederick Larsen is not even going to be able to get to the line to start his lap either. So Jake Potts, right now, does improve, goes faster than Brandon Walker. So that's a good start for him. He's pushed himself up into 4th. So he will start behind Antonio Jimenez. And I believe, aside from Marianne and Danny O'Keefe, everyone else, you're not setting lap times. I believe Jake Potts can go for another, as Marianne does go quicker, puts themselves in P4. That is a very, very good lap from them. Puts themselves P4, so ahead of Jake Potts. So you kind of forced Jake Potts' hand here a little, and you've told Jake Potts do 2 qualifying laps in a row, mate. And you've got to, if you want to get this P4, you got to go again. You got to go even quicker. That is what Jake Potts is looking to do, but unfortunately isn't able to find any pace at the moment. Danny O'Keefe coming through the final corner now, I believe, is going to look to try and improve his time, but again, down in every sector so far, so I doubt it will be a massive improvement. Jake Potts is green through Sector 4, potentially green through Sector 5, let's see. And unfortunately it is down, and it is down by a long way. I believe that is at least a 10th off, so he's going to have an amazing final corner here to really challenge Marianne, our new driver here for P4. Is Jake Potts going to be able to get it at the line? And no. Yes, actually he does. A 128.839. Talk about consistency. That man takes it just on the dying lap, and wow, that is very, very close qualifying session. I mean, the difference between P7 and P13 even, 0.4 of a second, and that's the same difference between P1 and P3 near enough. And then P4 and P6, 0.2 separates them. But wow. Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez, can you guys get any closer? Like, can we... Like, what's going to happen eventually is that Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez are both going to set the exact same lap time sometime. Just because they can. Honestly. Like, they're probably just going to do it because they can. Not because they are, like... Yeah, not because they were both pushing and that was just the maximum they can get out the car. No, they'll try and do it on purpose. Honestly, if I see it, head gone. Head would be absolutely gone. But it is now the warm-up, so what that means is we do have a couple minutes here to chill, relax a little, watch these cars from a nice couple of scenic cameras provided to us by the lovely people over at Track Cams for Gourmet. Check them out. I believe we have their links down in the description, so you should be able to go and view all of that. And while you're down there, why not join us on the Discord as well? Follow us on our website, www.iFormulaLeague.com. Get yourself involved for Season 4. Gonna be a little bit of a while yet, so you can at least join in, talk to members of the community, talk to a couple of the drivers. Yeah, there's some friendly faces in here. Not sure about that Frederick Larson fella, though. Now, we got lots of friendly faces in here. Lots and lots of friendly faces in here. It is a very welcoming league, and honestly, we thank everyone for everything they do for the league. Admins, drivers, everyone here is just so awesome, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with them for Season 3, and I can't wait to do it all over again here in Season 4. But we need to keep a few things hush and under the radar, so that's all I'll talk about for now, as far as that's concerned. And as always, we also want to thank our sponsors. Buttkicker for providing prizes for the league. They do an absolutely incredible job at providing those, and also providing some really good content to very much enhance your sim racing experience. Get yourself immersed. Get yourself kicking some butt, as they'd say. You really do feel the difference with Buttkicker. And then, in terms of some other sponsors, I mean, TD Designs, they've done a lot of the livery work here for these drivers, so always nice to see them popping on. Obviously, if you like the look of, say, for example, the Lumos cars, I know they've got the TD Designs logo on there. As always, they do an amazing job. And, you know, the league wouldn't be the same without them all. Lots of secrets. VPG Sim is another sponsor to mention. VPG Sim Lab doing incredible sim steering wheels by hand as well. That's always really, really cool to see. Giving a discount to the champions of each league, which is always nice. SRM Sim Racing Mods giving away a wheel for the F3 champion as well. Siemens also looking to work with us on getting trophies and some track pieces made, which is always going to be cool. We do try to love our community. We do try and give back as much as we can to this community. And hey, the league's free. So, you know, if you take home a little summon for just competing in a free league, why not? Love it. Get involved. Always cool. But 1 minute left here of this session. What I'll do is I'll jump on board with Brandon Walker and leave you with a lap of Circuit Park Zandvoort. Or maybe I won't, because he'll come into the pit lane instead. You get a view of the pit lane entry at least. I think he nailed that one. Why is it always when I try and go on board with someone, they're always like, oh no, I'm just going to come back to the pit lane actually. Practice your pit entries for the race, which is coming up. So, it is coming up in just a couple of moments here. The warm-up has now finished. Are you going to try and practice a start? And here we are for the race. This F3 grid lining up with, on pole position, Victor Barris. Again. Yeah, we've just come to expect it at this point. Also, by the way, it's been 13 rounds, and I've only just realized that the rear wing and the interior wing color of the Drive X team, different colors. 13 rounds that took me. Sorry, Drive X guys. I'll try harder. But here we are on the grid here for the Dutch Grand Prix. Victor Barris currently going to lead us away, and we go green. It was a very fast lights out. Frederick Larsen gets an absolutely incredible start here and may be able to take it from the other two Drive X guys. It's definitely going to try and look around the outside here of Antonio Jimenez, and almost looked like he was going to try and send it on Victor Barris as well, but they do manage to get through nice and clean, single file through the next couple of corners though. Jake Potts doing an amazing job of getting through, and I believe that was Marianne spinning there in the background, didn't collect anyone else, so everyone else got through pretty clean. So what that's going to mean now is Eystein is now in P5, gaining 2 positions off the start from both, I believe, Brendan Walker and then also Marianne, who spun there. So great job from them to just pick up positions on the start and keep on moving, keep on trucking, see if you can follow these leaders through, because that was one hell of a start from Frederick Larsen, but he just wasn't able to capitalize on any of it. Frederick Larsen got an absolutely amazing launch, was maybe caught off guard by the amount of wheel spin that Victor Barris had, and just couldn't do anything. So is now going to have to try and just sit behind. We do have 36 laps here, so plenty of time to make your move and make it stick. Dominic Herbert is currently sat behind Brandon Walker, was looking to maybe try for the move. Stuart Gibbons a little bit further back, struggling with... Sean Roberts was the one struggling, and then Stuart Gibbons was maybe trying to look for something. Danny O'Keefe also showing his nose a little bit. But again, everyone needs to remember, this is lap 1 of a 36-lap race. You cannot win this race in turn 1, lap 1. This isn't Formula 1. You need to relax a little. As Sean Roberts is going to try and defend his best from Stuart Gibbons going into turn number 1. They almost touch. Sean Roberts getting incredibly close to Stuart Gibbons, and Stuart Gibbons just having to back out of it. Otherwise, he would have probably collided with the side of that Pro car. And then Stuart Gibbons also taking a little bit of a longer line there, was locked up almost into that final corner. Sorry, not final corner. Very much not the final corner. Third corner, or fourth. Depends on how you call them. But yeah, locked up into that corner, just went straight on, almost into the wall there, which is not a place you want to see yourself. Marianne is starting to try and fight back, though, further down the field. P16 at the moment after that start, and definitely gets the position off of Halmar there, as Halmar does go very wide. Almost kind of let them through just a little bit. But let's jump on board back with this battle down here. And oh no, there's been a huge crash with Sean Roberts. And I believe that's Danny O'Keefe. Danny O'Keefe, you're not going anywhere, son. And careful, Sean Roberts. And I believe he's just collected Halmar as well. Or Halmar did just about get through that. You've got to be very careful when you're rejoining the track as well, because you don't know who could be around you. I know you don't want to lose much time, but you've got to be very careful because you could have collected up a couple of other people as well. And then there's Sean Roberts, unfortunately locking up, missing his braking zone and going straight on. And then I believe that was Daniel Haras as well, who did also have a little bit of an issue there, locking up once more. And again, Danny O'Keefe has to be careful because now his front wing is gone, practically. Like, he's got no downforce on that car anymore. And then Sean Roberts, same thing. Your car's a little bit broken too, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them both come into the pit lane here. Sean Roberts feels like he can continue on, but Danny O'Keefe with that front, with that damage, that front left tire, I believe it was, completely buckled inwards. So you're going to have to come back to the pit lane and get that fixed. And as he does so, we are going to take a look now for the battle for 5th position between Eystein and Brandon Walker. Brandon Walker, obviously a privateer now, so not picking up points for the CUDA team, but picking up points for All Is Lonesome. I do wonder whether or not that will change the CUDA points dynamic, if they will transfer across, or whether or not that's just going to be something that just naturally moves on. I'll have to wait and see, maybe even talk to a couple of people about that one. But Eystein in the number 64 is doing quite a good job at defending from Brandon Walker, actually. Just hitting their marks. Hitting everything they need to at the moment. Not really pushing massively. And just trying to make sure that they can get through this in one piece. Obviously, we are now in lap 4 of a 36-lap race, and I've just seen the pace of Victor Barris. Yeah, Larson, I mentioned that you'd need good luck before the race, and unfortunately, I think that's going to be pretty true. Further down the field, I believe Cole Day has now passed Arturo Mayorga for 10th position, so Cole now is starting to pick up points. Lots of people locking up here into this corner, this lovely banked corner. And I will say that in terms of championship fight as we look at it right now, Fredrik Larsen, if he finishes where he is right now, he will take 15 points, I believe. And then Jake Potts would take 10. I believe that's how that would work. And if I quickly do some maths, although I'm not very good at maths, not very good at maths at all, which is surprising considering I did programming for a degree, but you know, let's see what the championship standings would look like if it finished right now, because I am curious whether or not Fredrik Larsen can actually secure 3rd place here. So, to secure first place, you would need... to secure your place, you would need to be ahead of the person behind you by 27 points. So that means that to secure the... Okay, if Jake Potts wins the final round, gets fastest lap and also secures the bonus point for safest driver, he'd be on 155 points while finishing where he is today. Now, Fredrik Larsen would take home 15 points from today. So he'd be on 152. So, unfortunately, for Larson, he will still have a fight on for 4th, although it will be very, very difficult. My maths there supported by a calculator. So we know it's accurate. But yeah, Frederick Larson, unfortunately, would not secure 3rd place here, which means he will either have to push himself into 2nd, with Jake Potts finishing where Jake currently is, or Jake Potts will have to push himself down the order, down into 5th, with Frederick again finishing where he is. If that happens, then potentially we see Frederick Larson securing that 3rd place. And then I'd imagine Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez would also secure their places. But I'll tell you one thing that is not secure is this 3rd place. I know we're only on lap 6, and I was talking about what would happen if the race ended right now, but maybe I've spoken a little bit too soon, because Jake Potts is currently lapping quite considerably faster than Frederick Larson, is currently in the low 29s, which isn't Drive X pace. Drive X pace right now is high 28s. I'll see coming across the line here. Well, now low 29s, but Jake Potts sets himself a new fastest lap. Almost overtakes Frederick Larson in the process into turn number 1. Jake Potts trying to do an amazing job here at overtaking Frederick Larson, who is going to make it difficult. He's not going to make it easy at all. It's nice to see the different lines coming through as well into this corner. Obviously, there are 2 different lines that you can take. You can either go wide and take sort of a later apex and hope that the car doesn't get unsettled too much. Or you can do what Frederick Larson does, which is just hug the inside. Use the camera of the corner to help turn the car in. I don't think either of them are particularly faster than the other. They just both have benefits. Obviously, taking the later apex, you can get a slightly better run down the straight. But hugging the inside, you also cut off a lot of the corner, so it's almost a trade-off depending on what your car's set up for. But Brandon Walker is getting ever closer to Eystein. This is the battle on track right now, so we've got a battle for 3rd between Larson and Potts, and a battle for 5th between Walker and Ciappellone? Ciappellone? Ciappellone, I believe is how you pronounce that. Again, Eystein, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying out here. But in response to Jake Potts picking up the pace, the Drive X guys have also done the same. Jake Potts, unfortunately, not really able to go much quicker, now stuck between stuck behind Frederick Larson, it feels like. So what we're going to see probably is Jake Potts try to make a move the best they can, as we see Brandon Walker try to look for the inside line. Eystein's going to have to go the long way around the outside and get the really good run out of the corner, but with the slipstream, is Brandon Walker going to be able to pass them at all here down through the S's? He's going to look around the outside here. Not a corner where you want to overtake this one. There has been lots of incidents when people have tried to make a move here, but thankfully he backs out of it. Instead, he's going to try and look here through the next corners, and if he can't find a move here, he's probably just going to wait, make the move into turn 1, settle it in turn 1, and then just run away. That seems to be a lot of how this race is probably going to go. I imagine it will be a similar story in the F1 later today. But we shall wait and see. Obviously, F1 will have DRS assistance in a lot of places, whereas these cars do not. So this is all down to slipstream and driver talent. And the passes normally get made when somebody runs out of talent before the other. So we'll have to wait and see who that is out of Brandon Walker and Eystein. So Brandon's currently trying to find any way past, and Eystein, again, just placing their car really well right now. Is able to really just maximize everything that that car has. Going very defensive on the inside. Brandon Walker's going to try and make this swoop around. Maybe look for the switchback, but again, Eystein covered it off. just held that really tightly on the inside, and the moment that Brandon tried to get on the accelerator for the switchback, no room, so you can't really make the move there. And again, Iceteam taking a bit of that wider line, and that's going to allow Brandon Walker to actually come back at them. Not necessarily the best run through the corner, so Iceteam is going to have to try and defend here. Brandon dives it up the inside, very late, decisive move. But Iceteam's going to try and hold it around the outside. Are they able to do anything? It doesn't look like it. I believe that will be move made, unless the 64 has a very brave lunge there. But nope, unfortunately not. So that means Brandon Walker in the 101 has now taken 5th position, and it is now trying to look towards pushing their pace and trying to maybe catch up to the back of Jake Potts and Frederick Larson, who, by the way, that gap, while we've been watching this battle, has now extended. Frederick Larson has managed to pull away, has managed to improve their pace a little bit, while Jake Potts has sort of, their pace has dropped off once again, so we'll have to wait and see if that continues on like it is right now. And again, they are being very conscious here of the... just in general of the slipstream. As I say, it's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful around this track. For these F3 cars, probably even more so than you'd see in like F1, for example. And again, I think once the move got made from Brandon Walker, that was kind of it. I don't think Iceteam can now really battle back. I imagine we'll see pit stops around about lap 16 to 18. Maybe people try and push for the overcut, depends on how they feel on the tyres. Depends on how long it takes for these tyres to get up to temperature as well. We've seen from Frederick Larson before when he was talking about the F2 and how the F2 takes a long time to get up to temperature in comparison to a lot of other cars that he's driven. So it'll be interesting to see if Frederick Larson opts to try and maybe go for the later pit stop and then also try to push as much time as he can out of that car. And say, because right now he's not necessarily feeling the most confident in it. 129.6 last lap compared to a 129.0 from Antonio Jimenez, so Frederick Larson just doesn't seem to have the pace to really match the top guys right now. These Drive X guys battling amongst themselves, but again, I think they're keeping it they're keeping their lap times very similar, and again, I wonder if that's just because they are just trying not to attack each other. And Brandon Walker immediately, after getting past Iceteam, has just absolutely destroyed his own personal best lap time. So Brandon Walker sets a new PB. Puts himself in a 129.2. And a little bit further up the road, we do have Jake Potts and Frederick Larson starting to build up that gap once again. Jake Potts starting to push, starting to find the time once more, and try to maybe put that Lumos team onto the 3rd row. No, I say 3rd row, sorry, I mean 3rd position. Jake Potts trying to do an incredible job right now, and really push that Lumos car to its absolute limits against the Orion team. And we know the Orion team is quick, so surprising that we're seeing Danny O'Keefe so far down. Obviously, we know he had his issue, which, you know, is probably equated for a lot of that. Was in the pit lane for quite a while as well. 27-second pit lane time. Only a 4.5 second stop, so wasn't particularly bad on the stop front of it. I imagine it was just to stop, use a fast repair, and then get back out again, so I imagine we'll see him maybe not run to the end. Probably still has a lot of tire saving to do. But again, Jake Potts just pushing pressure on Frederick Larson. And again, if Frederick isn't careful, Frederick here is going to be passed by not only him, but also Brandon Walker. Because Brandon Walker's pace is really starting to get up there, and starting to push on Jake Potts' pace as well. So Larson could drop down not only from 3rd to 4th, but also then from 4th to 5th. Which is not good for a championship standings. Obviously with Jake Potts being so close to Frederick Larson, As we mentioned before, Frederick could still take that third position. And, yeah, just being ahead, securing yourself 15 points as opposed to 10 is definitely the way you want to go about doing it. But Frederick Larsen trying to defend as hard as he can to ensure that does not happen. He wants those 15 points. He's going to have to try and find something here that he's just not able to do. I'm wondering whether or not we'll see him potentially drop behind and then just try and see if he can learn something in the draft of Jake Potts. See if he can use Jake Potts almost as a way to secure a position. As Jake Potts does try and look the long way around the outside, dives it, but nobody's home for that one. Frederick Larsen's decided to leave the house unlocked, and Jake Potts just does not find anything. Jake Potts trying to get a mega run out of that corner before going down the S's. Is going to try and maybe make a move then after the S's, going down into the sweepers here. Very, very fast corners, so you need to try and nail it. Jake Potts does a good job of it. Stay on the tarmac. Obviously, the only place to go if you're not on the tarmac is in the grass. And as I'm sure people have probably realized, grass, not very grippy as opposed to your lovely fresh tarmac. Friction of grass is like driving on ice. When you're traveling at these speeds as well, makes all the difference. This battle for third place is heating up, as I believe is the track temp as well, so maybe we'll see a point where Frederick Larsen finally comes into his own, but I don't think it's going to be for a while. Not yet, at least. But Victor Barris is going to try and look to set a new fastest lap of the race in the meantime. Does not do it this lap. But his teammate is also setting very similar lap times. And here we go again. Take two. Jake Potts goes to try and go the long way around the outside. And again, nobody's home. He knocks on the door, but nobody answers. And Jake Potts just really can't find a way past at the moment. And that, I think, is the story of this race. And it's going to be the story of this track, I believe. We'll see it again in the F1 later on. Probably even more so in the F1 later on, because you've got to worry about the dirty air. But the elevation change, the dirty air, all of it plays a factor in these single-seater cars. Probably more so than any other type of car in motorsport. I mean, maybe with the exception of prototypes that have been racing on Le Mans this weekend, actually. Was Le Mans weekend this weekend. It was very nice to see real-life motorsport. Very nice to see the real-life Le Mans back at it. Brandon Walker in the background as well is closing in. And we see him lap after lap. He is closer than he was last lap. Maybe not quite close enough to make any moves just yet, but is going quicker, so I imagine if Frederick Larsen doesn't get a move on here, then Brandon Walker's going to have them both. And let's see whether or not Jake Potts, a third time of asking, does he find his way around? The answer to that one is a resounding no. Same situation as happened last time, although he's able to get a better run this time, because Frederick Larsen is not on the apex. And Dominic Herbert coming in for his first stop. So we'll have to wait and see. And Jake Potts pushes it too hard and spins the rear tires there coming out of the corner. That's him dropping now down behind Brandon Walker and maybe even Eystein here. Eystein is going to try and look for the speed advantage going up the hill, and Brandon Walker's car is going to be so much slower. So Eystein potentially going to be held up here by Jake Potts. Eystein tried to look up the inside, but Jake Potts not able to do anything. Sorry, was able to defend. Eystein wasn't able to do anything just yet. Jake Potts going to be fuming with himself after that one. But a nice reprise for Larsen. Nice little bit of a break from Brandon Walker, I believe. And that's what you needed, I think. If you're Frederick Larsen, you needed that little bit of a push just to get your lap times up. And then after that, If you continue doing those lap times, you should be fine for P3. And for Jake Potts, I mean, that is just a little bit unfortunate for him. To spin it on the exit of that corner, it's so easy to do. The camera just really unsettling the car on power, and that was about it. And indeed, Jake Potts is coming in to do his pit stop. I'd imagine Potts will fuel up for the end here as well on lap 16, 20 laps to go of this Grand Prix. I imagine we'll see him not only repair his damage, but also come in for that stop. As we will see Dominic Herbert and Nicholas Marshall trying to start to maybe fight each other. And we'll see where Jake Potts comes out. I believe he will be in P10. That is Dominic Herbert and Nicholas Marshall both coming in, so I'd imagine now there's going to be a lot of people who are thinking of coming in to the pits. Thinking of coming in, doing their stop, and getting back out there. And we'll see whether or not that's what the Drive X guys decide to do, or whether or not they just try to continue to push this little gap that they've got. But if Victor Barris isn't careful, his teammate's going to be right on the back of him. I'm sure Antonio Jimenez is looking at that and going, why not? I'll fight my teammate. Why not? That sounds fun. Yeah, I can do that. Let's see what the lap times look like, and indeed, Antonio Jimenez is the faster of the two Drive X guys. That lovely color scheme as well. The white, red, and black. And then the cyan accents for Antonio and the purple accents for Victor. With their names on the rear wing as well. Very nice. Eystein coming in for their first pit stop. Probably of one. Can't imagine that they will push much harder than that. I believe a one-stop race for these Formula 3 cars is definitely the move. And then Arturo does come in for their pit stop as well, which will put them a little bit further down. Jake Potts does overtake Eystein for P8. So in terms of our runners so far, I believe Eystein, who has unfortunately spun it coming out of the pit lane, I believe. We'll have to maybe take a look back and see what happened. So we're on board with Eystein. Watch to our left here, as I believe we'll see Jake Potts come past, and then Cold Day is also there. I'm not sure if they got tagged or whether or not that was potentially just an unfortunate spin trying to hold so tight to the inside line. As Antonio Jimenez has now just set the fastest lap of the race as well, and pushed their lap time, pushed themselves within a 1 second window of their teammate. Speaking of 1 second windows, Brandon Walker is also within 1 second here of Frederick Larson, as there was another spinner, I believe, of Sean Roberts. So we have 2 more battles going on for you. Maybe even 3 going on, actually, as I believe Cold Day is also pushed onto the back of Jake Potts. Although Cold Day does still need to pit, so I'd imagine that that battle is not going to go on for too much longer. Although Jake Potts did get a really bad run and is now having to go very defensive to the inside line. Cold Day is going to try and maybe make a move here into turn number 1. It seems to run out of top-end speed there, so yeah, very interesting to see. Nothing was really doing from that move, even with Slipstream. Seemed like Jake Potts just brakes later, and that's the move done. But Frederick Larson still keeping on his position right now in P3. And then a bit further up the road from these guys, we're seeing Antonio Jimenez and Victor Barris rounding through the final corner, so they're about a corner ahead of the guys behind, but do have traffic to contend with. Nicholas Marshall is the next one up. Now, Antonio Jimenez and Victor Barris, obviously we know that they are teammates, but they do also like to fight each other. As Brendan Walker does now come into the pit lane. And Jake Potts has also teleported back to the pits, so we'll have to wait and see what that was about. In fact, let's jump back on board now and see Ah. I see. That is not how that corner should go. I want to see if maybe we can get a slightly better angle on that one as well. But I'm not sure if we can, as the back markers are starting to get out of the way of our front runners. Jake Potts, unfortunately, just having a lot of issues here with that car. And then Brandon Walker also having a little bit of an issue as well. Further down the field, has come in for his pit stop now in P6, but also having, again, issues. So a lot of these drivers, halfway through this race, not having the best time of it. Cole Day does finally come in for their first pit. We'll have to wait and see. Who's the first of the two Drive X guys to blink? Is it going to be Antonio Jimenez, or is it going to be Victor Barris? I'll have to see what happened with Brandon Walker as well. So, coming through the S's on fresh tyres. Just gets on the grass and unfortunately spins it. Does manage to keep out of the wall, so that's a nice bonus. Normally, if you go off there, you are going straight in the wall. But Frederick Larson does come out in P4. Very close to Patrick Olsen, actually, so we might see a Team Banana Lime car versus the Orion racing car of Frederick Larson. Is Frederick going to be able to hold off? Obviously, he's on fresher tyres. We'll need to be careful of... Oh, as I jump back a little bit there by accident. We'll have to be careful of these fresh tyres. And what a straight line speed from Patrick Olsen. He's looking left. He's looking right. He's going to try and throw absolutely everything he can at Frederick Larson here. He sees blood in the water. Obviously, Patrick Olsen does still need to pit, so... maybe battling with someone who's already come out of the pit is not a good idea. And oh, very, very close to touching there. Patrick Olsen, you need to be very careful, my guy. Otherwise, you're going to take out someone in the championship who's essentially got some moves coming on, as Victor Barris does just go through and again decide he's going to flex a little, set a new fastest lap of the race while his teammates trying to hunt him down and push him. That was so incredibly close from Patrick Olsen, and I wish I could get that back on replay because that looked crazy. I wanted to see that from Patrick Olsen's point of view. And Patrick Olsen does now finally come into the pits here on lap number 21, as Frederick Olsen currently not necessarily net lead of the race, as there is a 42-second gap between himself and Victor Barris. And if you're only in the pit lane for 30 seconds, you're not going to be losing that much time. So, potentially, Frederick Larson will manage to overtake Marianne when Marianne pits. But I don't think he's going to get either Antonio Jimenez or Victor Barris. So I think Frederick Larson's just going to be able to finish P3 today, which, in fairness, is where he qualified. So in terms of a result, it's pretty good going. But did definitely want to try and get that win the best he could. I will say now, Marianne is in the pits, so this should push now Frederick Larson up into P3. And when the timing sorts itself out, we will see what that gap between Antonio Jimenez and Frederick Larson really looks like. We'll see how much time they did indeed lose under the pits. as I believe it does look like around about 16 seconds, so I believe Frederick must have lost around 6 seconds, just not really able to keep up with the same pace that Antonio Jimenez was able to do. Battling then as well with a couple of other people on pit exit, Patrick Olsen included. As Victor Barris is now into the pit lane. And we will see, is 16 seconds enough? This is the one that I do want to watch. I do want to see, is Antonio Jimenez going to be able to come out ahead of his teammate? As Victor Barris is in his pit stall, he is getting his tires changed, is getting the refuel. He's now out of the pit lane. We see him there, just ahead if you were looking. And I believe Victor Barris is safe. Indeed, he is a long way gone. So Victor Barris manages again to extend off of his teammate. And that 1 second gap before the pit lane time? Yeah, we're now looking at about 4 seconds. So Victor Barris doing an amazing job at extending the gap to his teammate, making sure that they can effectively get a free pit stop and not lose any positions to Frederick Larsen. And then Marianne has jumped back to pits. I'm not sure what that was for. We'll have to go back and check that. See what happened. And went off track through the fast right-hander. I believe this is... And then, yeah, unfortunately spins it. And that is tire gone, wing gone, and you're back in the pit lane. Thankfully, we do have a fast repair, so they will be able to get back out on track again. Unless they decide that is it, and they're just going to sit in the pit lane now. So, Marianne, Jake Potts, and Daniel Haras are the only ones to retire so far. Sean Roberts, Dominic Herbert, Holmar, Alberg also being 1 lap down off of our race leader, Victor Barris. And I believe also from Antonio Jimenez, I believe Frederick Larsen still needs to overtake Dominic Herbert and Sean Roberts. But he is looking to try and do that. He's trying to look to improve his pace and maybe make a last-minute effort to push for Antonio Jimenez. Antonio Jimenez is definitely looking to try and do that with Victor Barris. Wondering if we can maybe get a final lap tussle between the two of them. We'll have to wait and see what Victor Barris's next lap looks like. Obviously, he's only had his in-lap and then his out-lap, of which Antonio Jimenez was quicker on both. Fun fact. So out of the two of them, Antonio Jimenez is the one who's practiced the pit stops the most this week. Maybe got the faster pit crew as well. But Cole Day is now catching up to the back of Arturo Mayorga for 8th position. Stuart Gibbons also, by the way, haven't really talked about him much, but he is currently in 7th and doing an amazing job. Sorry, no, he's in 5th. He's gained 7 positions off of where he started. Stuart Gibbons, again, amazing drive from him. And again, one that went pretty silent and unnoticed. I do apologize for missing some of the passes that he's had, but yeah, Stuart Gibbons, take a bow. Potentially, he's going to get another one. Depends on whether or not he can push the pace and catch up to Brandon Walker. He does have enough laps to do it if he is a second a lap faster, which at the moment it doesn't look like is the case. I believe Brandon Walker is currently lapping a second faster than he is, so not going to find any moves here. One person who is looking to try and find a move here is Cole Day on Arturo. Getting very close to the rear end of Arturo is Cole. Cole looking around the outside here into turn number 1. Arturo holding that inside line and holding it pretty well in that number 2 car, but Cole does manage to get the throttle down on the exit, does get the run out of the corner, and that is Cole done and dusted through into 8th position for the number 199 car. That black and orange G-Drive livery. Nice to see. A little bit of carbon fiber on there as well. Nice looking car, that. Arturo Mayorga behind has been dropped massively after Cole has managed to get the move done. So it is now dropped down about half a second or so. Obviously Cole looking to try and extend that gap as much as they can. The gap you'll see fluctuate throughout the course of this lap as Arturo looked to be a little bit quicker in some sectors rather than others. And Victor Barris and Antonio Jimenez are going to be trading lap times back and forth for the rest of this race, it looks like. They're deciding that, actually, instead of one of us setting fastest lap of the race, then just leaving it at that, how about we both go for it? And then whoever gets it, gets it. Proper, I've forgotten the team strategy here, and I'm just going to go. Cole going very defensive from Arturo here. I mean, not necessarily for all the right reasons, because they were very far back. Obviously conscious of the slipstream and knows how quick the cars can get up to. Seems to be running a bit of a medium downforce setup here, and that was something that I spoke to Frederick Larson about before the stream, actually, was the fact that if you run a high downforce setup, it's great because you're really quick through the corners, but you also need to be careful because in the dirty air, you're just not going to be able to pass anyone, really. That is something that we are definitely seeing here. About how no one can really pass each other, except for maybe in turn 1. I'm not really seeing any other overtaking opportunities. They're not always necessarily a bad thing. It's the anticipation for the move that makes it so sweet. I'm trying to build up the fact that Arturo can try and make that move back on Cole Day if Cole decides that they are going to maybe make a mistake, because if they do, then obviously Arturo is going to be right back there again. You know, if Cole goes a little bit too wide in one corner, overshoots the break-in zone, isn't aware of the toe, all of that could play a factor in Arturo managing to catch up. They're both pretty similar in lap times. Only 0.2 separates them on the last lap, but Cole taking the advantage and the quicker of those 0.2. And it looks like once again, DriveX are doing what they do best and just sort of setting a 1-2 and cruising away. Feels like Larson didn't have an answer. Maybe Jake Potts could have. But Brandon Walker didn't have an answer either. The pace from those DriveX guys, an absolutely another level. It really is. It's absolutely insane to watch these DriveX guys just do their thing and just be so consistent. And imagine with all the work they do as well behind the scenes. It's absolutely crazy. And one of the reasons as to why they are drivers champions. Oh, sorry, not drivers, constructors champions. I want to see if I can work out from here then. Has Frederick Larson secured... Yeah, so if Frederick Larson finishes where he is, he has secured at least 3rd. Because I don't believe Brandon Walker can compete. No, so Brandon will be on 100 points, I believe. will be still 18 behind Jake, so would need a second place with Jake not scoring any points to tie. And then it would go to tiebreakers, in which I think Jake Potts has the better skew of results. So I believe Brendan Walker would need to win the final race to be ahead of Jake, and Jake would have to not score. Or score a very little amount. Whereas Frederick Larsen, if he finishes where he is, that is it. That is championship done and over for Frederick in P3. Trying to work out whether or not he can make any moves further up the field. So, Antonio Jimenez, to secure second, would need to score... If he takes home safest driver and fastest lap, he would need to finish 10th or higher in the final round, or would need to finish 7th or higher if he doesn't take home the two points. And then I believe by winning today, Victor Barris will secure the Drivers' Championship as well. So, fight on for P2 of the championship is still on, although looking quite unlikely now. But the fight a little bit further up, as I say, the fight further up for P1, all but done and dusted with. So, this man on your screen, Victor Barris, will be, touch on wood, provided nothing happens in these last 5 laps that we have here. Well, 6 laps, because we have to complete this one. He will be our F3 Drivers' Champion and DriveX Esports. I believe it's DriveX Esports. Yeah, it is DriveX Esports. Will be our... They will be the Constructors' Champions, as we knew from last week, I believe. Although 2 weeks before that. I can't remember when they won it, but they'd won it. They'd won it before this race, anyway. And then it really is just about Antonio Jimenez and Frederick Larsen for 2nd and 3rd. Again, unlikely that Larsen can finish P2, but mathematically still possible. That's what we like. We like a bit of math. Or maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Who knows? But yeah. I believe... Let's say, I will double check my workings. So, Antonio Jimenez will be on 176 points after today. Frederick Larsen will be on 152. Now, the maximum amount of points that Frederick Larsen could score, if he finishes in 3rd today, will be 179. So that is a 3-point difference between however many points Antonio Jimenez ends on today, plus the points that Frederick Larsen could possibly score. So, mathematically still possible for him to win the championship by 3 points, but Jimenez would have to not score in Silverstone, and Frederick Larsen would not only have to win, but he would have to get fastest driver and safest driver. And this is all, of course, saying that Jimenez doesn't pick up either of those points as well. Obviously, if Jimenez picks up those points today by being safest driver and fastest driver, then there will be a 1-point difference if Larson manages to pick up all 27 points from Silverstone, and Jimenez gets 0. So again, I feel like we could say it's pretty wrapped up with Victor Barris definitely being your Drivers' Champion after today, provided nothing unfortunate happens. Obviously, I don't want to do a curse and say that, oh no, he's definitely Drivers' Champion, and then like final corner, last lap, he bins it. That would be a little unfortunate. But that will sort of be, as far as the championship goes, the championship will, in theory, in every single category, be wrapped up by the end of today. F2 went to Chris Byram. I believe the team's championship went to the Cuda Works team. I believe the Ariga team just can't catch a break anymore. And then Cesar Cabral and Carlos Catal, if they don't turn up for the last 2 races, then that'll be that done. Sorry, if they don't turn up for the last race, I should say. If Cesar Cabral doesn't turn up, if Carlos turns up, he could take 2nd in the championship as opposed to 3rd. By just finishing, but that's provided the race also runs, which at the moment we've been struggling to do. Unfortunately, has dropped off a little bit. But 2 laps to go here. 2 more tours of the island as it goes. And the DriveX guys, once again, proving that they are the dominant force here in Season 3, in the Formula 3. And if you want to challenge them, you've got to put up one hell of a fight, because these guys are fast. And then, speaking of championships as well, obviously we do have the F1 championship after this, which again, that championship is all but settled, I believe, for every position. Unless Vance doesn't turn up today. Shipley turns up and wins both the final rounds, and then could take 2nd from Vance. But again, that's a very big if. The team's championship obviously being wrapped up by Pleb Racing, which is still a very silly name, but that is who won it. Igor Filipic and Jakub Michuski obviously being part of that team, the main 2 of that team. But that's other championships. Also, I got the count wrong. Victor Barris will have 2 more tours of the island coming from now. So it was 3 tours of the island. But again, if he's been doing it like he has been the rest of this race, he doesn't have to worry about his teammate, doesn't have to worry about Frederick Larson, he just has to worry about keeping it nice and tidy, nice and clean. Because I don't think anyone is taking that fastest lap from him. He does have a 1:28.37. And what's crazy to me is the fact that even though Nicholas Marshall was gaining 5 positions off the start of this race, they still aren't the biggest gainer in this race. Biggest gainer of this race so far has been Stuart Gibbons, +7. Absolutely crazy. Although, potentially, if Stewart isn't careful, makes a mistake, Eystein could overtake him. He'd still be the biggest gainer by 6 positions, but you know, you want to finish P5, right? Instead of P6. But here we are then, final lap for Victor Barris. Let's get on board with Victor Barris as he does come through the final couple of corners here. We can see the camera in this corner that threw off Jake Potts, and is the reason that Jake wasn't competing with Frederick for P3. Coming down the compression. Going uphill now, very steep. And then again, very steep on the descent as well. One that throws off a lot of people. Blind apex here, and again, very, very fast. I believe Victor Barris is just deciding that he's going to continue on his pace that he has been keeping on. But hold on 1 second, Eystein, with one more lap to go, is trying to cause an upset here. Let's see, are they able to get the move done up the inside? Doesn't look like they are. They are very, very close, though. And here we go, Eystein and Stuart Gibbons battling it out side by side. Final lap of the race. Who's got the legs? Who's got the run? The number 47 or the number 64? Stuart Gibbons gets an amazing run out of the corner. Touches the grass a little bit. Gonna suffer on his straight line speed. Stuart Gibbons gonna try and hold it up the inside. And they're still going side by side from 3 corners ago. And oh my word, what amazing respect from these two. Eystein finally gets the move done, but is gonna have to be careful that Stewart doesn't try and send it back up the inside line here. Eystein trying to hold off, needs that back marker to get out of the way because this battle is very, very tight here. Final lap of the race, and Eystein manages once again to make up a position right in the death of the race. And I believe Stuart Gibbons is going to have no answer back, only has 2 more corners to do it after this one. So Stuart Gibbons is going to try and maybe make the move. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Stuart Gibbons coming through the second to last corner here. Tries to take it as flat out as he can. Final corner flat out for these 2 drivers. Eystein with a last late minute move on Stuart Gibbons will take 5th position here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Stuart Gibbons unfortunately taking P6, but again is our highest gainer of the race, so congratulations to him. But I mean, talk about the Drive X guys, man. What a dominant performance they've had this season. Victor Barris, take a bow, my friend. You are indeed Formula 3 Season 3 Drivers Champion. And oh, it's gotta feel sweet. It's got to feel sweet. Letting through the pro car right there through the middle at the end. But both of them in formation. Frederick Larson will finish P3. But what a race that was, ladies and gentlemen. These are your results here from the Dutch Grand Prix. Victor Barris, as we know, did take the Drivers' Championship and then the Teams' Championship they secured a few weeks ago. But Drive X with your 1-2, Antonio Jimenez just unfortunately not able to match the pace of his teammate. Frederick Larson does finish there in P3. Brandon Walker in P4 for his own team, with Eystein finishing in P5 for the Knox team. And then we've got Stuart Gibbons P6 with a very, very cool last lap battle between the 2 of them. And then Patrick Olsen in P7 doing an amazing job for that Team Banana Lime car. Cole Day for P8 and Arturo with an amazing result in P9. Danny O'Keefe rounds out the points with Nicholas Marshall finishing behind him. Pure Racing Opposition in P12. Olmar in P13, Sean Roberts in P14, and then DNFs, unfortunately, for the last 3 drivers of Marianne, Jake, and Daniel. But once again, what an amazing race that was. And I want to see if we can get in a couple of interviews here, especially now that we know Drivers' Champion is indeed Victor Barris. We're going to see if we can get Victor involved. See if we can get him in here. And if we can, then we're going to hear what his thoughts are, tell him the news, all that good stuff. Victor, mate, amazing job on the win today. And not only did you win today, you've also now won yourself the Drivers' Championship. Your teammate has no way of taking it from you. So that is officially yours. You have the Drivers' Championship locked up before we get to Silverstone. And you guys, as I say, dominant performance from both of you for the DriveX team. And again, looked like a similar sort of result here at Zandvoort. I mean, you two sort of ran away with it. But again, you were pushing each other the entire way. I'm sure it wasn't easy trying to hold off your teammate. But yeah, I mean, what a result from yourself. You've got to be pretty proud with that, right?
Yeah, thank you. Really, it was a big effort, and this race was by far the most difficult mentally. We were not saving any tenth. We were pushing both maximum. So, well, you saw the qualifying. I mean, we weren't 2000s different. So we were pushing as hell, waiting for a mistake, but no mistake from any of us. And yeah, it was a big relief actually to finish this race.
But as I say, obviously with your win here, that does secure you Drivers' Champion, and I believe Antonio Jimenez, with the results that he's had, will be pretty much secured second. I believe Frederick Larsen could still win it by 3 points in Silverstone, but he'd need Antonio not to score. So as long as Antonio finishes higher than 7th at Silverstone, you're good. That'll be a 1-2. That'll be a 1-2 for both of you, and Constructors Champions already secured, Drivers Champions already secured. Might as well secure in P2 as well, right?
Yeah, if Antonio manages next race, because as you said, he's still not secure second, it will be perfect result for the team, for ourselves. So it's been outstanding performance. We are super happy with this and looking forward for next challenges in the season.
Yeah, I'm assuming then you guys are looking forward to coming back here and defending your titles in next season as well?
I mean, if it's for me, of course, because I've been pretty good here. I think the atmosphere in this championship, it's amazing. But we are in a team, we are in DriveX. I don't know our manager, what plans he has for us. But I mean, if it's for me and for Tony, I'm pretty sure we want to, I don't know what seed is inside this championship, but for sure to repeat another season.
Yeah, I mean, look, we look forward to having you back. It would be absolutely an honor to have you guys back and really pushing it. And I said on the stream earlier that we'd love to see some competition to you guys, because you guys are on an absolute another level. So that would be really cool. But again, it wasn't without hard-fought battles. Obviously, looking back through the season, you guys have had some insane battles with each other and then with other people on track as well. Obviously, Jake Potts is one of the guys that you've been battling with, Frederick Larsen as well. You know, you guys have had a lot of really, really good moments, and yeah, we just can't wait to see more of you guys next season. And yeah, it's just to say, you guys are really, really good to have around. You guys always bring the energy every week. You guys have brought in amazing pace every week. Always push it to the absolute limit and can show us really what this F3 car can do. So yeah, absolutely look forward to having you back next week. But as I say, before I let you go, pop the champagne. Obviously, as we said, you're a Drivers' Champion now, so you might as well. Do you have anyone that you'd like to thank? Anyone you want us to give a shout out to?
Yes, as always, first ones, it's you. I mean, the broadcast team, also the league organization team. You have been doing an amazing job all season long, and obviously, my team, DriveX, for supporting me, and Tony, because he's the best driver you want to have in the team, pushing each other. He's a very nice chap. So that's my shout out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It seems like you two have really good chemistry as well. It's so cool to see you guys pushing each other every week, and hopefully that can continue on and you guys are back in season 4 But obviously, we do have one final round at Silverstone. You guys looking to try and lock it out there as well? Or are we going to see maybe a little bit of a break from yourself?
Oh no, no. Of course, I'm going to go for Silverstone, and I will try to fight for the top spots. Maybe helping Tony because, as you said, he's not secure in second. So for sure we will be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can't wait to see you guys then. And again, it won't be next week, but it will be the week after that. We do obviously have our little bit of an off week, get ourselves prepared for the finale of this season here. And yeah, as I say, I'll let you get on, pop your champagne, get yourself some victory ice cream, whatever it is you do to celebrate a win. As I say, I'm sure you've had enough of them now.
And a shower. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Awesome, mate. Yeah, I'll let you get on. See you later.
See you.
But that was Victor Barris. Now we will hear from our third place driver, Frederick Larson. Actually, no, we won't. We'll hear from Antonio Jimenez. We'll get in second place. Why not? As I say, second place for now in the Drivers' Championship. You still need 3 points, unfortunately, to secure the second place spot from Frederick Larson. So that is something that you guys are going to have to work on. Obviously, going into Silverstone, I'm assuming you're going to be trying to work with your teammate there to try and improve your pace as much as possible and keep pushing each other like you always have this season, right?
Right. That's the idea.
Yeah, as I say, you seem like we were absolutely pushing it that race.
Yeah, it has been an intense race. Well, first of all, I can give the congratulations for my teammate Victor for a final victory in the drivers' standings. He deserves it.
No.
It was a championship which it was decided by who made the first mistake, I think.
Yeah, I think you guys have been so close all season that really it came down to who made the first mistake as opposed to who was the fastest. Because both of you, as we saw from quali today, I mean, you basically set identical lap times.
Yeah, yeah. The quali lap was the very fast way with us. And what is the number? And 0.001, is it?
It was like it was 001 or 002. It was so close.
In the radio, I said to Victor, "Don't touch the time. This was nice."
But yeah, it was so cool to see in qualifying, and then obviously you continued that on in the race, pushing each other as hard as you possibly could.
Yes.
And I don't think you let him breathe for a moment there until near the end, where finally it sort of seemed to settle.
I think we were addressing the same times, Victor and I. We were each waiting to see which of the two made the mistake, but no.
Yeah.
No one mistake, or when he does one, I do another.
Yeah, it was just one of those that was just amazing to see. Obviously, we like an inter-team battle. Obviously, it's nice, when you work together and you help each other out. But
yes,
you two battling each other on track is also really cool to see. So yeah, I mean, as I say, you've still got work to do though. It's still not settled just yet. Obviously, need to secure yourself that second place, or the second in the championship at Silverstone. I believe you'll need to finish 7th or higher. Pretty sure that's where my maths is working there.
I think I only need entering the points. With entering the points, I think 7 or 8, and that's it.
Yeah, I think it will depend on whether or not Frederick can get the win plus the bonus points.
Yes.
Obviously, the bonus points are
today
really
was very
what will decide it.
Today was very faster. The first lap with Frederick was a brutal melee. Thanks to Victor, he gave me a little bit of a lip stream, and to be a little bit way ahead of him. But whoa.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I'm very frightened.
watching the start back, it seemed like Frederick just absolutely nailed the start. Was gonna try and overtake both of you into turn 1. I'm not sure whether or not Victor bogged off the start, but it looked like he got a little bit of a worse start in comparison.
Yes. We were with the cold tires, and Victor and me were not pushing because they made the the mistake on the start. But well,
Yeah.
nothing more.
Well, before I let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to? Obviously, as I say, it's you guys have been dominant all season, so.
Then thank you all for your good work, and always thanks to my team for allowing me to race with them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you guys, as I say, you guys are awesome to have, and we can't wait to hopefully see you back here again in Season 4. As I say, I know Victor has said that he wants to come back, and I imagine it's similar to for yourself. Hopefully have a bit more competition next season as well. Not only between you two, but also everyone else that's involved. I mean, we want to see battles out there for the top step of the podium every week. That'd be really cool.
Hope so. I hope so.
Anyway, I'll let you get off, and as I say, you go have yourself a shower, maybe, you know, a nice ice bath or something.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Hopefully see you back again here for Silverstone as well.
Okay. We'll see then.
Yep. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, cool. And now we will hear from Frederick Larson, our third place man. And then we will also hear from Brandon Walker. He is in the waiting room, so we'll get an interview with both of those as well. So let's bring in Frederick. Hey, mate. Again, third place. Not necessarily the result you were hoping for, but you could still take second in the championship. We did work out.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, you can still take second. I believe you would need to win the race with Antonio Jimenez not scoring any points. I believe you will take second by 1 point.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. I was doing a lot of maths on stream while there wasn't any battles on, so...
So it was basically a 2-hour math lesson.
Well, there was still battles going on, but yeah. I was just trying to work out all the scenarios so I could tell you guys in the post-race interviews, you know, what was going on. So yeah, you can still take second in the championship, but obviously at this point, I think from yourself, obviously you're looking to just sort of finish the season on a high, right, and try and push as much as you possibly can for the final round at Silverstone.
I was fighting a lot with Potts for that P3, but now that I don't know what happened. I saw he disconnected during the race, so I think P3 for me is back now. Unless you have done some other math during the race.
No, you have secured P3. So because of Potts having his unfortunate spin, then that you have secured P3 in the championship.
Nice. That was basically my goal, so I'm happy with that now. But I nearly got P1 actually in the first turn. I was kind of put into prison by Jimenez Barris in the start.
Yeah,
so
I noticed.
I couldn't really do anything, unfortunately. But yeah. But I saw that right around when Potts he spun, I was also struggling a lot with my tires. I basically went sideways through turn 9.
Oh, jeez.
At the lap before, and he catched up so much, and I was really scared of losing my position. But yeah, I mean, I was lucky, he was unlucky. It happens.
Yeah, but, absolutely. But as I say, obviously, what that means is you do have a bit of work. You could still get second in the championship, but you will need a win at Silverstone. A perfect way to round out the season, I think, would be to get yourself the win. But obviously you will have to worry that both Trivex guys are obviously going to try and stop you from doing so. So, as I say, you're going to have to really, really push it, I think. Obviously we will have an off week, so try and get a lot of practice and come out swinging against the Trivex guys. It would be really cool to see.
Yeah, my problem with Silverstone is that I'm so slow around that track. So, it's going to be interesting.
Well, hey, who knows? Maybe you can find some pace and you can, push yourself to be into the top tier. But hey, I mean, it's one of those things that, as far as you're concerned, you've got P3 in the bag at least. Anything else is a bonus, right?
Yeah, and I think I might have gotten the most what is it called, consistent driver. I got 0 X's during the race, so
That
don't know if-
one I don't have the stats for, unfortunately. That's one of the ones that I can't work out, unfortunately. I believe there will be someone who was keeping a track of that in a document somewhere that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I believe, yeah, depending on whether or not Victor and Antonio obviously could have had 0 X's as well, we'll have to wait and see obviously what that looks like. But yeah, I mean, as I say, great race from yourself, obviously, to finish in P3. Obviously, we're looking for a bit more, but hey, sometimes, you know, that's all you can really do. And then, again, you're looking for a win out there at Silverstone is really what you need.
Yeah. I'm just gonna push and see. If I crash, I crash, and if I win, I win.
Yeah, absolutely. Go out with all guns blazing, you know. If there's no tires left, you did a good enough job.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, mate, before I let you go, is there anyone else you'd like to thank for the season so far?
Yeah, well, my team and also all the F3 drivers who is showing up and racing with us every week. It's nice to have a grid of, I don't know how many there were today, 15, 20 people every week, so it's great. And also for the most unluckiest driver ever, Danny, my teammate. He always ends up in some accidents, and it's not his fault, so yeah, hopefully he can do well at Silverstone. I know he's insane at that track, so yeah.
Well, maybe he can give you some pointers then.
Yes.
But yes, mate, I'll let you get on, celebrate with your team, and maybe, you know, have a little shower or something.
Yeah.
But yes, mate, well done. As I say, congratulations, and hopefully we see you again for Silverstone.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers, mate. Alright, and finally, we will get in Brandon Walker in here for our 4th place position. And just to get a few words from him, see what he felt the race has gone by, see what he has to say in just general. See what's popping. Hey Brandon, great job again on a 4th position from yourself, mate. You've been really pushing the general sort of pace throughout the season, and obviously now with a bit less from the CUDA guys, I'm not sure how much you have of like in touch with them, but yeah, I mean, great job from yourself and doing an amazing job at trying to, you know, really push what you have. And P4, I imagine, is a pretty good result for yourself, right?
Yeah, I thought we had pretty good pace. You know, throughout the minimal practice I got, I wasn't too sure how close I would be, but yeah, it was fun. I mean, I really was looking to get P3 for quali, but couple new guys were able to edge me a little bit, and it was fun with I think Leston can't pronounce the name, but that was a good battle we had. And I mean, just made the mistake coming out the pits on cold tires. Was going for the undercut on the Frederick and got in the grass and spun it. But I mean, you know, P4 will take that because started 6th, so still good points. But yeah, I'm not too sure how far out 4th place for points is now. But I mean, I think we have 5th locked with Julie being out. And so, yeah, I mean, congrats to everyone else, Antonio, Victor, Frederick. So, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I believe you'll be 18 points behind Jake for 4th in the championship. So you would have to finish, I believe, 2nd to take that 4th position, but then I think it comes down to tie breaks. I'm not sure what that looks like for you guys.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised when I saw Jake spin. I didn't think he'd spin, but I saw him locking up a little bit. So it's unfortunate for his race. It's not how you want to get a jump on somebody, but you know, it happens to all of us.
Yeah, as you say, it was probably on the cold tire, same way that you did. I believe it was, I want to say it was on the couple of laps after he came out of the after he came out of the pits. He just spun it trying to chase down, I believe it was Frederick Larson at the time.
Yeah.
Trying to run away, or yeah, unfortunately just on the exit, caught it on the curbing on the outside of the camera corner. I think it's turn 4, turn 5. And yeah, just unfortunately couldn't save it, and that was him out. But hey, I mean, it promoted you to P4, and P4 is where you stayed. As I say, it looked like it was you still had to fight for it. You know, there was still lots of battling going on track. It wasn't exactly a clear run, but yeah, I mean, you put on a nice show. It was great to see, and secured yourself P4.
Yeah, I tried to cut down that gap to Larson with 15 to go or something, but you know, I just couldn't do it. So yeah, kudos to him.
Yeah, absolutely. But as I say, mate, before I let you go, is there anyone you want to sort of give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to the league. You know, you in the booth. It's great to have you again, and you know, guys at United. Yeah, I can't really think of anyone else.
Yeah, no worries. As I say, obviously one other question that I do have is obviously with the whole, with I believe it was the CUDA guys were all retiring, and obviously you became then a privateer after that. Are you looking to continue on in season 4, or are you going to be looking elsewhere?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you know, I did my F2 debut yesterday. Unfortunately, not many people showed up, but I enjoyed the car. You know, so we'll have to see what the numbers look like. And yeah, I was actually surprised we didn't see Matt Turner today as well. But yeah, well, I'm not sure who's doing what over there, so just have to see what the league does and structure wise and participation. But yeah, we'll see. Who knows? I think for right now, just focused on the last race and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, can't wait to see you again out here for Silverstone. Obviously, it won't be next week. Week after that, we will have a 1-week break before we get to the finale. And again, can't wait to see you then. But again, as I say, thanks for joining me in the booth and joining me with the interview. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you in Silverstone, but maybe for a P3 instead of a P4 talk.
Yep, there we go. All right, appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. And that'll just about wrap us up here from Zandvoort, the Dutch Grand Prix. Victor Barris did take your win, as we say, is now drivers champion, so that is the F3 League effectively all wrapped up. Obviously, battle for 2nd and 3rd, battle for 4th and 5th in the championship is still on, so we'll have to wait and see how that works for Silverstone, our final round of this season. And again, we want to give a massive shout out to everyone who joins us, everyone who follows along, drives with us. Everyone here has done an amazing job, so massive shout out to everyone here that's been watching along, been following along. It's been absolutely amazing to have you all. And again, we'll see you next race out for Silverstone for the finale. But for now, guys,